Well, a warm welcome along to today's LUTV coverage as Leeds United women take on York City Ladies. A midweek treat for the viewers tonight. After last week's 1-1 draw against Doncaster Rovers Bells, Leeds are hoping to return to winning ways. That was a 1-1 draw thanks to a Drew Green goal that was eventually cancelled out. But Leeds are top of the table, although they have played a game more than Huddersfield Town. So winning is the main objective from right now until the end of the season. Draws, you would feel, with the competition and the level of class within the league, that a draw is not good enough this evening to put pressure on the teams below them. But this team in Leeds United have already beaten York this season, and the team is Carrie Simpson. Then it is Shauna Legg, Emily Cassidy and Alice Hughes, Drew Green, Ellie White, Brittany Sanderson, Kath Smith, Amy Woodruff, Alana Millard and Darcy Green. And then the bench is Charlotte Oates, Ruby Dawson, Izzy Elliott, Maisie Ellis, Sophie Bentley and Ava Spencer-Smith. Simon Wood, the coach of the group. As for York City, coached by Dan Jackson, it is Georgia Wattam in goal, Imogen Hayhurst, Daniela Trickett, Ruby Shaw, Sharon Buckle, Katie Varley, Rosie Bell, Katie Astle, the captain, Ruby Watts, Millie Ash and Alexandra Gatt. And Jackson's bench is Minden Hall, Doody O'Flaherty, Benson Smith and Marshall. And as always, joined by Bridie Hannon tonight for this evening's commentary, who has spent the pre-match talking about half of York's team because there's a real familiarity to it, Bridie. There's players, Katie Astle was a former striker, there's other players, there's got some new members of the Leeds United squad with new signings that have played for York. There's a real familiarity to it, but there can't be too much respect, can there? There's a big assignment for Leeds. It's equally as big for York, who have dropped into their relegation places, and of course are fighting for their position in this 4th division. Good evening to you.
Good evening. Well, pleasure to be back here again at Garth of Town. It's always nice to have a midweek game under the lights. I know the girls certainly enjoy it. But yeah, like you say, there's a lot of players that have played for Leeds, York, back to Leeds. You know, Alice Hughes being one of them. And yeah, it's a great opportunity tonight to get another win, 3 more points on the board. And you know, some of these players that were at Leeds before have really kind of shone in York City colours. And you know, looking at one of them now, Katie Astle, the captain. You know, had a few seasons at Leeds, but she's definitely at the top of her game now at York and very, very well respected and thought of there. So, yeah, no friends on the pitch tonight. It's back to business, and it's really important that we get that win tonight. We cannot afford to drop any more points. Obviously, last league game we played, drew to Doncaster. You know, you could argue that it wasn't a free kick that cost us the goal, albeit it was a very, very good free kick, but you know, there's going to be lots of twists and turns in this league still. There's plenty of games to go. And, you know, yeah, we are top of the league, but like what you alluded to, there's the teams below us are right on our tails. So, yeah, again, important to extend the lead at the top tonight.
Yeah, so final preparations and final team talks amongst the group.
It's interesting as well, the goalkeeper Georgia Wattam, obviously she was at Leeds United, as we spoke about pre-match, and spent a few seasons at Hull, did a good job, but just has not found herself in favour this season. So she's gone to play regular football at York and seems to be enjoying it, but let's hope it's not an enjoyable one for her tonight. If you listen or watch this after, Georgia, I'm sorry.
You're not the way.
No, I'm absolutely not. I am friends with her. I am friends with her off the pitch, but I'm afraid tonight it's I'm a Leeds fan.
Going underway then with York having the kickoff. It's been a beautiful couple of days. So hopefully the ground firmed up a little bit. And the best thing for Leeds is 2 home games in a few days. So it should give them just a little bit of momentum. Such an advantage for the group to be playing 2 important games in the week in front of their own crowd. Legg looks along with an early pass. It was a searching ball for Sanderson, who's just arched her run quite cleverly and just played it off the defender. And a bit of energy expelled to try and get into that corner flag, but good effort gets her rewards, and it's a set piece to come for Leeds.
Yeah, she did well then, didn't she? I think, you know, when you're running into that corner of the pitch, it's going to be more difficult, I think, to kind of keep it in play and then do your business to get across in the box. So, you know, fair play for getting the corner.
Nice delivery into the near post. It's used the thigh as Hayhurst to clear. Referee's just checking in the box. Sanderson goes to ground. A bit more loft on that delivery, and Sanderson meets it. There's a crowd of bodies on the deck, and 2 York players getting to their feet. So frustrations for Leeds, but a good ball in, allowing them to attack it. Just a touch unfortunate that they couldn't keep it under the crossbar. And Sanderson almost coming down on the ball. She jumped a bit early to compete with the 2 York players, so she's unlucky.
Yeah, it was difficult to kind of really aim that towards goal, but it was in that uncomfortable position for the keeper.
Yeah, good work defensively from York there. Here is Hughes. Somehow nutmegs the number 10 Ruby Watt. Out to Darcy Green, who dribbles her way forward. Plays it to Sanderson. The crossfield ball to Drew Green. Brought under control, but won back by Trickett. Fallen to Hughes. Smith has a quick glance left, but can't play the pass. Green tries to just flick it around the corner to White. And Trickett clears it for a throw. Leeds deep inside York's half, looking for the opening goal. Throw in for Leeds. York really haven't had much of a touch on the ball to impose themselves. It's underway by Buckle, who just gets out of trouble. So putting the pressure on. Another throw in high at the pitch, which Millard can come and take.
Yeah, I think we've obviously had probably most of the possession so far in the first opening 3 minutes, but it's not really come to anything at the moment. I think they do look a little bit shaky at the back at times.
Drew Green inside to Millard, good feet. Just trying to get away from Trickett. Ball in, may fall to Woodruff, just a step too far. York will clear out for another throw.
It was fizzed in that corner, wasn't it? Yeah, the cross even.
Yeah, the number 5 Buckles had plenty to do, but she stood up to the challenge the York centre half, the left centre half, should I say, as she has more work to do here to clear. It's kept alive by Watt. Gets past Millard and turns inside, looks for Astle just over, hits it too far, and here is Smith. Hayhurst accepted the throw, did Darcy Green. A bit of a clumsy fall from Sanderson, accidental, but there's a York player that's come off second best from it.
Yeah, I wouldn't fancy Britt Sanderson putting all her weight on my head like that.
Yeah, quite innocuous as well. Obviously, the player's sort of gone and she just falls, and as she tries to step on, it's like the left hip, so there's plenty of power behind that as well. And she's up on her feet, good to see.
I think she stood on her leg as well. I think not intentional, but just how she fell, it was a little bit awkward.
Just what you need 6 minutes into a game where you're fighting to stay in the league. Drew Green under control, looks for a bit of space. Pivots away from Short. Out to Sanderson, who's seen plenty of the ball. And ball appeal, and that is heard by the official.
Yeah, it was,
just bounced awkward for Katie Varley, and it is a set piece for Leeds.
Yeah, and again, we've got to get these set pieces right. I do think we'll have, a few corners and things like that, but, you just take your time, don't rush. They'll have been working on this, you know, in training, there's always one or two players that stood around fancying it, but it's about getting your runs right, making that first contact, making it difficult for the goalkeeper, understanding your positions and what your role is. And obviously, last but not least, you need to have a good quality ball into the box, because there's no point having all them players stood there.
Got out of play for a corner. Header from Varley goes the wrong way.
I wouldn't have been happy with that as a centre-back, heading that ball and it going behind like that.
Just wouldn't have happened, would it, with you?
It wouldn't. You're quite right.
It'd have gone the other end of the ground. Wallop.
It'd have gone in the goal, and it'd have been a no goal probably.
Here is White. Floating ball just towards Hughes, has been the main set-piece target for Leeds this season. Sanderson picks up the loose touch and has a quick glance inside. Does a bit better than that and plays it all the way to White, who's offside. Bit of shooting practice and a bit of saving practice for Georgia Watton in goal. But there's been a real desire, Bridie, from Leeds to switch the play, get the ball in the box early. Yeah, Sanderson's ball is good, but of course the offside flag is why that the Leeds player got to the ball.
Yeah, it was a great spot, that, wasn't it? A great ball into her, but just a little bit offside. But we're getting into the right areas, and you know, for me, we're playing in the right half of the pitch, aren't we? Or should I say the right third of the pitch? So as long as we keep it here, I'll be happy. Yeah, I think from the experience of playing with Bob's for and against, you know, she hasn't got height as an advantage for her, unlike Carrie Simpson. So, you know, I think the girls need to utilise that. She's a good shot stopper. She can get down at her feet, left and right. But I think where it did let her down a little bit, Leeds is she did get lobbed a few times. So I think the girls will know that. Hopefully they can exploit it tonight.
Buckle heads away up towards Astle. Millard towards Woodruff. Buckle nearly handled that. He's gone out of play for a Leeds throw. She's expected a Leeds touch there, Buckle, and just misread the situation. Millard to White, good feet from Millard. Woodruff's asking for it in behind. She plays it all the way across, begging for a touch from Sanderson. Gets one, roof of the net. Great ball, Alana Millard. Teasing sort of cross. When Amy Woodruff's in space in front of you and you ignore it, the delivery, you'd feel has got to be good. She's in a great position. It's even better than good. It's on a play. It just bounces a touch awkward.
Should have been a goal. What an opportunity that was. Fantastic ball by Alana Millard there. A diagonal ball, but from a York perspective, just nobody attacking it. It was just, they were all just watching the ball. I don't know if they was hoping it would go out of the other side, but you know, for Leeds we had two players that could have potentially got on the end of that, and I think she'll be disappointed with that finish. But yeah, good, really good chance. I think this is the thing tonight. We are going to get chances, and we need to put some of them in the back of the net. But I think it's about not being complacent as well. We saw it a few weeks ago against Chesterley Street. We won 3-2. It felt like a loss because we conceded really, really late on. So, you know, I think it's one of those games tonight. You score, you get another one and another one and another one. And I think, you know, the league position of York and how many they concede, we can certainly do that tonight.
Smith picks up the pass from White, or the block from White. Woodruff gives it back, and Smith just delays the pass in time. Smart play, because Drew Green had dropped in to stay onside. Challenge from Trickett, and it'll be cleared all the way and chased down by Watson. A few times now she's got into this little left channel and got behind Millard when the right back's been able to push on. But like last time, the ball inside goes astray and Leeds regather. So clearance forward. Imogen Hayhurst has it for York, and deflection off Sanderson doesn't fall a Leeds shirt way. Instead it fell inside to Gatt. Looping ball goes forward to Carrie Simpson, who recently made over her 100th appearance for the team, which is no mean feat. Congratulations to her. Certainly played her part recent years. Sorry, Bradley, go on.
No, I was just going to say the number 10 that you mentioned there, Ruby Watt. It seemed that's how they play. It looks like every ball that kind of goes forward, she's the target player, if you like, and then brings other players into play. But a couple of moments before, we saw some really good combinations in the midfield for Leeds, and I think that's how we're going to break this team down. They do man-mark, they get quite tight in midfield, and I think we can hurt them with the quality of the players we've got in that midfield. You know, little 1-2s and triangles and just basics really, but I really think we can hurt them in midfield.
Smith looking for Hughes, just overplays it, intercepted by Ash. Drew Green tries to get it back. Up towards Watt. Picked up by Trickett, the clearance, and she wants to go back to goalkeeper Watton, who can only clear it for a throw. Millard's pass inside intercepted. Good work from York, who are on the attack again. Interception from Shaw. But it's just that final ball for York just goes back in Leeds' favour. Bit of a tussle here between Darcy Green and Rosie Bell. And it is Green that comes out on top. Here's Woodruff. Woodruff just caught as she lost possession. There was a touch on the ball though, so referee says play on. And Millard to Hughes. And now wide to Drew Green.
I think the way the ball's rolling on this pitch as well, you can tell we've had some better weather. It's you know, when it's a little bit heavy and it's been raining, it runs a lot different than when it's been nice.
Foul there on Darcy Green just as she's about to play it backwards.
Emily Cassidy's been quiet so far today and she's on leg, but that's how we like it.
Yeah, Cassidy's pass for Sanderson overhit, so it's out for a goal kick. 13 gone. Huddersfield Town are also in action tonight. Leeds' closest title rivals. They and Cheadletown have a game in hand on Leeds.
Yes, I shall be keeping a close eye on that score this evening.
So then Durham Sestria in fourth, also on 31 points like Cheadle, who have got 2 games in hand on Durham. But then Wythenshawe, who are fifth, who were top of the league a few weeks ago, they have 3 games in hand on Leeds tonight. Once this is game 17 for the Whites this season. So only 6 points separating them. And a couple of games in hand. But they do often say, don't they, you would rather have played your games and have the points on the board. That's still one of the ex-players of Leeds United, who made a big contribution in one of her final seasons here. She plays it sideways and it's intercepted by Drew Green from Trickett. Green looking for an inside pass towards Woodruff. Good first touch. There's going to be a challenge coming in. Drew Green's picked it up, goes early towards the far corner. Just past the post. And Watton was beaten. The support play was second to none. Everyone had each other's angle covered, but it remains goalless after 14.5 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of York City errors that's led to that, but really, really good play by Drew Green and Amy Woodruff, and I thought it was just going to creep in at the back post. But yeah, unlucky again. Goes down as another chance. We're getting closer. I think we look threatening this evening, don't we, every time?
You are right, you made a really good point actually. There is an element tonight where Leeds get in front. Because York are fighting for survival, there isn't going to be a case of York just letting themselves feel sorry for themselves. They've got to keep going. Leeds can't afford to switch off, can they? It's just one of those nights for both teams. There's so much riding on it. There's an incident off the ball there with leg and one of the York attackers. Here is Millie Ash for York. Millard gets across, and a rare foray forward for York gets them a corner kick.
I think that's the thing. There's no real easy games in this league. I mean, even if you have most of the possession, it's obviously what you do with it, and it's the scoreline that's most important, and you just can't switch off. Because, I mean, you know what football's like. You can not have the ball for 89 minutes and then you can grab yourself, you know, a snatch and grab cart in the last minute. So we've just got to stay focused for, you know, 90 plus minutes, whatever's going to be added on. And it'd be nice to get a goal and go into half-time full of confidence and continue that.
Like with the clearance. Ambitious effort from Shaw from distance, out for a goal kick. New ball needed at the Bannister Prentice Stadium.
There's nobody really attacking that corner at the front post whatsoever.
very difficult as well to actually get that towards goal. It bounced at an awkward height. That's an awful lot of herself, did Shaw. Cassidy back to Simpson. Roll in front of Shauna Legg, who will let it roll in front of her towards Millard. And Leeds allowing each other to attack the ball with some forward-thinking passes. There's Hughes. Cassidy. White trying to turn around the corner. She's been quiet tonight. Almost in like a free roll is Ellie White. She makes a run in behind, as does Woodruff. It hits her on the armpit. She'll scoop it forward and miss the target anyway. She was offside. Yeah, Leeds look to be playing a back four, Bridie, then two holders in Smith and Hughes, and then Ellie White's like a bit of a marauding 10. She's gone wide left, wide right. Sanderson's then gone left as well. There's an element of a freedom to her position tonight, I think. Yeah,
well, you don't want to be too predictable, dear, and I think she probably enjoys that role. I think, you know, we see time and time again, sometimes she's on the left, then she's, you know, just on the edge of the box. She's taking corners. I'd love to see her heat map because she's all over. But I think, you know, the beauty of tonight is we are going to have most of the possession. It's enjoyable to play football when you've got the ball. And I think, you know, we're just coming on the back of an 8-1 win. I know it was in the County Cup and we beat Harrogate, we scored a few goals, but I think that's exactly what the girls needed going into this game. But yeah, they're playing well. From back to front, they're playing well. I think we're just missing the goal at the moment, aren't we? But, I mean, there's plenty of time left.
Cassidy plays in Darcy Green, who has to get away from the attention of Hayhurst. Here's Legg. Legg curls it towards Woodruff. Hayhurst gets in the way. Sanderson was asking for the back pass, begging for it to occur, but York spot the danger. And Buckle clears out wide to Bell. Now a foot race between Simpson and the number 10, Watt. York have picked it back up and Hughes will have to cover here. It was Gatt driving forward into space and Hughes goes back to Simpson to relieve the pressure. Trickett loses possession. Drew Green gets to it. Woodruff will chase it down. You've got White in space in the middle. Tries to pick her out, but it's too close to Watton. Never going to get to that. It's Ellie White, but there was potential behind the move.
There was, and I think it's, you know, whenever you're crossing the ball, you've got to either hope that someone in the box or making that run into the box, and it was just a little bit too close to the keeper, Georgia Watton.
Shauna Legg has been caught by Katie Astle.
Yeah, strong challenge from behind there. She'll have felt that a little bit.
Yeah, pretty powerful, quite.
She's a warrior.
I wouldn't say risky, but it was definitely not a yellow card for me. But
no,
one of those challenges, Brady, that I think as a defender you are on the end of when a striker sort of wants to try and set a precedent, maybe, you know, set a stall out early doors.
Well, that's it. It's normally the other way around, isn't it, with Shauna Legg? She's normally the one that's putting in those challenges early doors. I think York look really, really shaky when they're in possession in dangerous areas. I think Leeds can definitely exploit that. They're just turning over the ball almost instantly when they get it.
Good work from Woodruff. Just needs that angle for the pass, gets it to Smith. Smith looking to the box, the glancing header on from White. Another offside appeal and another one answered by the official. So Leeds just struggling to keep themselves behind that last player.
Yeah, I think it might have been Drew Green at this far side. I think for York it'll almost be a case of staying in the game as long as you possibly can and, you know, defend for your lives if you're going to get a result. You know, they've not got many points on the board and their away form's not fantastic.
Yeah, 23 points separate the two sides tonight. Leeds are on 34. It tells you a lot. York struggles this season. But we've been here before as Sanderson jumps in. Touch unlucky, I feel, there. Hayhurst wins a free kick. I think Sanderson's trying to say she's been headbutted in the hip. So it's one of those, I think some referees would play on. It's a head injury, of course, so the referee has to stop the game.
Yeah.
And maybe deciding on this, we're not 100% sure he's actually given a free kick. He's just checking for the head injury to make sure. I know he has given York the ball back. There's a debate of who was still in possession, but the referee's got an obligation to make sure there's nothing seriously wrong with the head injury, so shouldn't be too many complaints. Here is Gatt. Gatt tries to get past Smith, turns past her as well. Now she's on the march in attack into Astle. Tried to squeeze it forward. Hughes gets there first. Here is Smith. Giving Woodruff something to chase. Buckle goes back, and Wattam, I think, was clearing that. She got away with a rush clearance. Drew Green's got to it. Wattam's come off a line though, and she's very unlucky.
I'll be honest, there's been 4 or 5 now where Georgia Wattam just kicked the ball out of play, but yet the defenders are still placing that trust in the pass back. I mean, initially there were no real pressure. I think there's been times where she could take a touch, settle herself and, you know, get some distance on it, but she's flapping a little bit. And I think it's the pressure that Leeds are placing on them.
It's kept alive by Gatt. Cleared by Varley. Picked up here by Darcy Green. Cassie nips in, strong challenge. Goes to ground holding her face. Which in theory the referee has to stop the game for a head injury. A little bit slower there. I think the Leeds bench were as passionate as ever to try and explain what had happened. Halfway through the first half. I'm looking at just maybe a forearm to the face where she had her eyes on the ball and got caught out the side of the eye. So Leeds get a chance to give a few tactical updates to the players very quickly.
Yeah, I think Simon Wood will be relatively happy with what he's seen so far. I don't think, you know, they've not really tested Carrie Simpson at all. Defenders haven't really had that much to do. I think quality-wise, you can see the difference straight away. You know, you can see why Leeds are top of the league, and you can see why they're fighting to stay in the league. But, you know, we're halfway through this first half, and, you know, the all-important starting, as we say every single week, is the scoreline. And, you know, all this possession is fantastic. It's pretty to look at times, but we've got to put that ball in the back of the net.
Drew Green gets back. Millard to Hughes. Good work from Hughes. I think she told Drew Green to get out of her way. Here's Sanderson. Leeds have gone back there rather than forward, but that's because the pass from Smith was spotted. Darcy Green, who's going to do all she can to keep her alive. She's done better than that. It's towards Woodruff, just over her head, as well as Ellie White. Hughes regathers. Millard to Hughes. Arm up from Woodruff at the other end of the box to ask for a pass, but it went the other way into the hands of Georgia Wattam, still goalless.
Yeah, she doesn't normally use her left foot, and she did in that instance. I think Amy's got herself back on side. Both hands are in the air. I mean, there's a few red shirts there, so whether she gets to it or not is a different story, but yeah, just a poor choice in pass by Alice Hughes, who's so dependable and reliant every single week.
Really well worked that by Leeds out the back. Poor pass to Simpson.
Well, it was Alice Hughes who actually started that move, wasn't it?
Yes, here is White. White just gets dispossessed by Katie Astle. Too strong for her. The captain makes her way forward. Rolls it out wide to Ash. Foot race between her and Millard. Really nice play from Millard to dance away from trouble. Into Hughes. Late challenge that from Astle. That should be a card, really. It's third or fourth, and Shauna Legg's coming across. And the accumulation really should cost. I think, don't want to see a player carded early doors and spoil the game, but that's a late kick out.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to say they're probably getting a little bit frustrated, York. Like I said, they've not got much of the ball, but you can't do that. She's absolutely nowhere near the ball. And like you say, I mean, at this point, if the referee's not already given a yellow, it needs to be, well, this is your final warning. You know, they are quite big and strong, some of these players, and, you know, I don't mind the physicality, but, you know, some of these challenges are not great.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see someone fired up, isn't it? Kate Astle's an ex-Leeds player. She's going to have a point to prove, a chip on her shoulder tonight. Why not? You try to prove yourself against your former club, your former teammates. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's up to Leeds to frustrate her and get things going for themselves.
I mean, who knows? This may well be a tactic of theirs. You know, get in Leeds' head, get physical, get in the faces, bully them. You know, we need to make sure that we keep our heads on, stay professional, and let the football do the talking.
Shaw misses the header. Here's Woodruff. Buckle gets away from Woodruff. Pass out wide to Ash. Buckle gets it back. Lord Legg with a really important header because Astle was behind and in space. Woodruff just about enough to get it back to Simpson. As Cassidy's back pedalling as fast as she can to give herself breathing space. And the forward ball to White will give Leeds half a chance to attack here. Good covering work from Katie Varley gives Leeds a throw.
Yeah, it was a great ball, wasn't it, forward? Just how to turn defence into attack. Just one straight ball.
Smith, positive first touch. Second was blasted at Katie Astle, who put a block in. And Astle's block gives Leeds a throw.
Would you like to know the Huddersfield score?
That'd be delightful.
Huddersfield are winning 1-0. Elford with the goal.
Darcy Green inside to Woodruff. Sanderson picks it up, trying to scoop it towards Drew Green. Doesn't get the pass right on either occasion, so York clear. Composed again from Simpson to pick out Cassidy. Cassidy under pressure from Watt. Regathers and Simpson picks it up. Here is Legg. Scoop pass again from the Leeds players, just trying to get in behind. Bit of extra loft. Here's Millard to Smith, blocked by Gatt. Smith and Gatt go head to head yet again, and Smith will slide in. Gatt rise that challenge, but now Darcy Green wins it back, pokes it in behind to White. This is a big opportunity, this for Leeds. White taps it inside to Woodruff. Woodruff will slot home. Leeds United at their best, counter-attacking football. Carves open York. And the goal they've craved comes after 30 minutes. Amy Woodruff with a tap in. It's Leeds 1, York 0.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. You knew, didn't you, as soon as that ball just slid in by Darcy Green, the defender slid and missed it, and it was only going to end in one way. I mean, literally queuing up Drew Green at the back. If Amy Woodruff was to happen to miss it, but there was no way she was missing from close range. So really pleased. She got a hat-trick last weekend against Harrogate. So she'll be pleased to add another one to her tally. Such an important player, builds on, you know, massive confidence player as well. So that'll do her and the team the world of good. But yeah, fantastic. It's what we deserved as well, Tom. Nice to see the girls celebrate with one of the committee members as well that just happened to be walking behind the goal. Now, if you was Ellie White in that position, Tom, would you have gone for glory and
No.
had to go yourself?
No. 5-0 up, yes.
Yeah, it's one of those, and if you miss it, you've got a few questions. to answer.
Well, you made the point right at the start. They've got to get the goal, relieve a bit of pressure on themselves, but then don't take that as a this is done.
Oh yeah, we've absolutely not won this game by any
So
stretch.
getting the first is such a relief for them, and hopefully sets the tone for the rest of the first half.
Yeah, it's like the other week when I said the longer it's 0-0, you know, you do start to panic a little bit and think, right, who's going to come up trumps, who's going to score this goal for us, who's going to, you know, get us out of trouble basically. But yeah, I mean, the girls look confident tonight. They're playing really well, creating good chances. We look like we're going to score every time we get through. You know, defensively, I think they've been very, very poor. Like I say, for them it'll be a case of staying in the game. While ever it's 1-0, they're still in the game. They can still get a point, you know, if not 3 at this point. So, you know, I think when it starts going 3-4, 5-0 to Leeds, that's when I imagine the heads will go down. But, you know, they'll still fight for this. They've got a lot to lose.
Yeah, Cassidy clears for a York throw-in. Sanderson's clearance for yet another York throw, which will be taken by Hayhurst. Who's not happy at the distance between her and her teammates. Doesn't occupy the longest throw in her repertoire as Astle flicks it round the corner, but Simpson can just take the sting out of the move and drawing Ruby Watt before picking it up and assessing the field down both flanks.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's around 10 goals this season, Katie Astle, so she can finish. It's one of those, you know, don't give her any opportunities. But, you know, the thing about Katie Astle is she's not one of these players that just stands in the box and waits for the service. You know, quite often she makes the goals herself. You know, you can see how deep she's there. She'll pick up the ball, play some 1-2s, get, you know, sprint into the box. And, you know, quite often, especially for York, she starts and finishes moves as well.
White to Woodruff. Good delivery, just can't steer it towards goal. Wattam knew the minute it left Woodruff's head that was going wide.
Yeah, it was a good delivery in, but I think to score from there and get, you know, the pace and power that's required, it's very, very difficult. Almost like need to flick it onto someone else, don't you, to kind of finish that move.
Feet from Drew Green, passed out behind Hughes. Millard can't get to dispossess Ash, but she can on the second occasion. Drew Green back to Millard, who gets the caller's pressure over her left shoulder. Trick it to Ash, down the line for Watt. Shauna Legg decides to send the ball halfway across Garforth to make sure the danger is quelled.
Might be another lost ball, that. A late offside call, that.
Into the final 10 of this opening first half. Leeds have dominated nearly all areas. Smith looking for Woodruff, intercepted by Trickett. Drew Green. It's another attack and wins another throw.
It's like the fans have come out in numbers tonight. Everybody seems to love a midweek game, don't they? Corner ball if it goes.
Yeah, Buckle's clearance. Good challenge from Hughes. Hayhurst was coming and wasn't about to miss. Interesting call from the ref to blow up. Darcy Green was in the penalty area with possession.
Yeah, that was a strange call to bring it back.
Would you prefer the set piece or the open play?
I think the advantage. I think she got to the ball first. It was a late challenge, but there she could be playing a little. I mean, she's just been tackled, to be fair.
One of the York players has stayed down. I think it's a spell of dizziness after a header.
I think it's like one of those. When does the ref stop it? Because initially, when it went to Green, very much in possession, in a good position, took 2 or 3 touches. I think she almost does that thing where she passes it to herself, doesn't she, and runs onto it with a pace. And then he's pulled it back. So I think I'd feel a little bit hard done by if I was a York player. Reminds me of that meme with Harry Maguire when he heads the ball and somebody says it's just a ball of air. Leather and air.
I don't have a comment.
I absolutely love heading the ball. I'm one of those strange people that thrives off it.
So the York player is going to get more treatment. Let's hope she's okay. And as Leeds can come across for another tactical debrief, quick drink and refreshment. Final 7 minutes of this first half. Drew Green, Cass Smith and Emma Woodruff clearly feel they've got enough energy in the tank to get to half time. Would you have preferred a really good header or a really good challenge, like 50-50? Because defenders are weird.
Slide challenge.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd find you weird if you didn't prefer the challenge.
Yeah.
Still miss it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, but this to some extent gives me somewhat of a football fix.
Yeah, it does help the team in such a good position, as we said earlier, into first position ahead of kickoff tonight. Rivals Huddersfield, who have a game in hand and are a point behind Leeds in second, are also playing this evening. Leaving the field is Katie Varley, who we hope can re-enter the game. So the referee will allow the proceedings to get back underway. We have Sanderson and White stood over the ball. Either could take this. You would favour Sanderson due to her run-up angle here as a right footer.
Yeah, I think she's got a really good goal a few weeks ago, didn't she? But I think she does tend to have that bit more of a whip and power.
Yeah, White stands over it. It will be Sanderson. Goes for power. Tipped over by Wattham. Good strong palm as well with the single hand. It'll be a corner.
Yeah, good effort, good save. I think it was just a bit too central, wasn't it? I think left or right, a bit more of a chance of that going in the back of the net.
Yeah, looking at the replay, it appeared Wattham could brace herself, couldn't she, and get ready for impact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a goalkeeper, but
still, as you said, there was enough power behind it.
I think when goalkeepers have to dive, they lose a bit of the height to a certain extent, but she was able to just kind of like stand tall, really, and just jump up to palm it over.
White's corner, glanced away by Buckle, picked up by Woodruff, who turns pretty cleverly. Not a million miles away to say she was on the turn.
No, she tends to find herself in these positions a lot. You know, if you've watched any of the previous matches, literally the exact same things happen. She just Needs to get a body over it. Keep it down. Not sure if that took a deflection or not, actually.
Millard gets caught on the ball. Astle plays it forward, a foot race, which Cassidy has a huge head start on, even more so for Carrie Simpson, who can just pick it up.
I think Millard's had a really good half, actually, but I think she was almost blindsided by the York City player then. She almost turned around to her teammates like, you know, where's the shout?
Leeds throw right in front of the dugouts. Just joining us here on LUTV, Woodruff score the difference so far. It hasn't been a 50-50 game. York have not really been able to generate any attacks. Simpson has had very little to do, but as Brady rightly said earlier, at 1-0, any team gets that feeling they can get back into a game. And we've been here many times before, with Leeds needing to win in a title race against a team a lot lower than in the table. And that team raises their levels to get a result. Let's fingers crossed hope that is not happening before the end of this season. Well, the best throwing again from Hayhurst, who is struggling to get any sort of grip on the ball. Bit of a quiet end to the first half, Brady. A lot of throw-ins, not a lot happening.
Not a lot happening at all. It's not like me to be quiet, isn't it?
No.
But yeah, I think since that goal, it just all seems to have calmed down a little bit. We've not really had any more attacks.
Could change here as Woodruff picks White out, who can have enough time to twist and turn. And again, White goes for it. Not able to find the corner, but the creativity, I mean, that's Ellie White in a nutshell, isn't it? You know, the quality on the ball, the lack of panic, thinking about things before she has to go, right, where's the best angle? She's unlucky.
I mean,
Watson was very panicked.
She used her body so well initially to get into that position. Nice little 1-2 with Amy Woodruff. I think the combinations are really, really important. But yeah, great effort, and that's the beauty of being two-footed, isn't it? You know, she could literally go left or right, and she managed to get some real good power behind that. I mean, it looked from this angle like it was just inches wide.
Handball against Leeds, so free kick on halfway for York, a chance for them to get some bodies forward. Shaw heads forward, Smith pounces. Watson clears convincingly. Just what her team needed her to do. Here's Woodruff trying to turn. Little nudge on Buckle and gets a free kick, the York player.
I think York will be relatively happy. Only going in 1-0 down at half-time.
Nudge in the back from Smith. It will be a free kick for York again. Yeah, it's not a bad position, isn't it? You can regroup as a team with a team talk. You can find where you've gone wrong, or is there a weakness you've spotted. 2 or 3-0, you start to think changes might be needed. It's up to Leeds to try and get there. Darcy Green just dispossessed and falls over, but she tries to win it back. Hayhurst and Smith again nipping in, just shows that extra burst of energy. Drew Green looking, hits Buckle, pokes it forward. Woodruff gets to it. Woodruff turns inside, or looks for Sanderson, just can't pick her out.
I thought she could have a shot just on the turn then. I think that was the better option.
Here's Sanderson. Drew Green back heel, asking a lot on who's going to be offside.
I think she knows as well. I think a player of her ability, I think she knows that if she'd have just... It's difficult, isn't it, as a striker? Sometimes you want things to be perfect, and if not, you want to lay it off to your mate, but I do think she should have had the shot then.
The Leeds are leading thanks to Woodruff's first half strike. Job done so far as we enter half-time, but still a lot to do. York are bang in this tie despite having a lack of efforts of their own. Join us soon for second half coverage.
Goal, Leeds United, number 14, Amy Woodruff.
Welcome back then to LUTV's coverage. The players back on the field of play for hopefully a prosperous second half. Leeds leading 1-0 at the break, thanks to the goal from that player there taking the kick-off, Amy Woodruff. And a great assist from the player in question there, Ellie White, with a little cushion pass inside. Out towards the left edge and played in towards Sean and Legg. Legg is going to let this roll out, so Huddersfield Town are also in action tonight. They are Leeds' closest title rivals as it stands. They're only a point behind, they have a game in hand, and Brady has just informed me that they are winning 2-0 at the break. She wants to ruin my Wednesday night. But Leeds United, Brady, have a job to do. They can't worry about anybody else, can they? It's cliche, but it's true. You've got to win out, hope for the best with results, especially if Huddersfield have a game in hand. That's just how the cookie crumbles when you lost to them a few weeks ago. So still work to do tonight. But you were overall very, very pleased, weren't you, in the first half performance?
First half, really pleased, yeah. I think we had the majority of possession. We created the better chances. Defensively, we looked solid. York didn't really test us. I think, you know, it's a credit to how Leeds have played, but York didn't really seem to get into any passing rhythm whatsoever. They kind of lumped the ball up to that number 10 to hold up the play, but didn't really account for anything. But I think every time Leeds went forward, we looked like we could score. And I think the quality in this team is the best it's probably been in a few years, to be honest with you. So, you know, hopefully a game like this we can notch up a few goals. You know, I always think it's important to get that goal difference as well. But yeah, I think, you know, you said at the start of the game, didn't you, that, you know, some people prefer, you know, being top, but, you know, the teams behind you have got games in hand. But the thing is, it puts pressure on those teams because they have to win, you know. So yes, they're winning 2-0 tonight. You know, by the end of this evening, the actual table itself might not change, but, you know, we just need to keep ticking away at these games and just notch up as many wins as possible. And, you know, if we don't come top, you know, there's still that opportunity to go into that playoff, which we've never had in the whole time I've been at Leeds United. So, you know, it is a big opportunity. And, you know, the girls, a lot of these have played in the league above, don't get me wrong, so, you know, they've got that experience as well. They know what it takes to win this league.
Bit of confusion there. The referee is signalling a Leeds throw. Sanderson tries to take advantage of the confusion by taking the throw in a lot further down the touchline than it was supposed to be. So Leeds' team: Simpson, Shauna Legg, Emily Cassidy, that's Carrie Simpson by the way, Alice Hughes, Drew Green, Ellie White, Brittany Sanderson, Kath Smith, Amy Woodruff, Alana Millard and Darcy Green. The bench tonight is Oates, Dawson, Elliot, Ellis, Bentley and Spencer Smith, as Legg goes high towards Woodruff. It will fall to Varley, who clears. Darcy Green lets it roll over her shoulder. Drew Green lets it roll. Trickett had stepped up. Millard is there as a helping hand. A bit of work for her to do. She's rolled Astle. Astle's got back with a crunching challenge. It'll be a corner kick. A needed tackle. Much needed from Astle, because Millard had a free cross there, Brady.
Yeah, she did. I think Leeds did really well to get into that position. And I wondered if Drew Green was going to try and get that early crossing. But if you look at the red shirts, you know, to be fair to York, they got back in the numbers. And for Katie Astle, he was a striker, to get back there and make a challenge just shows what's needed from this team in order to get a result.
White's delivery towards Legg. There's a Leeds player down on the ground. Sanderson has a look at the referee as Cassidy complains behind her. No official is interested in whatever Emily Cassidy has to say. Quite a unique sort of setup, because Emily Cassidy and Shauna Legg are not exactly the tallest centre halves. Hughes, a few others are normal targets for corners. Were you trying to remember, were you a set-piece asset or were you the one that went back?
I'd like to think I was a set-piece asset.
Yeah, you were in the box, but you were in the mix, weren't you?
Yeah, scored a few goals. Because I think it's one of those, it's just about making that first contact, not necessarily you heading it in or, you know, I like to be in and around the areas.
But you know, I would say you're taller than Legg and Cassidy, and yet they don't ever seem to be overawed in a challenge. They're really strong centre-halves. It does help. It's almost going under the radar from set pieces that Hughes and Sanderson obviously offer a lot more height. Woodruff is strong in the air as well, but Legg winning the first contact, then Cassidy going to ground, it could be quite a dangerous weapon for the pair of them.
I think we're really dangerous from set pieces. Like you say, we've got the height in there, we've got the strength, we've got the intelligence of the players, we've got the quality of the cross. I mean, it all adds up, doesn't it? Those are all ingredients to make a successful team, certainly from a set piece point of view.
It does help when the set piece taker can take a corner or a free kick with either foot, the exact same quality in Ellie White. Who goes back to Darcy Green here.
Olivia Smart was like that though. She used to take free kicks, didn't she, with either foot.
Legg to Drew Green, now to Hughes. Millard's made a run out wide. Just forced wide a touch with the first, but now in the second and third attacks, unlucky with the cutback. Hughes tried to turn it back towards goal. Not the greatest clearance from Bell. Shaw beats Hughes to it as Cassidy up towards Smith. Woodruff looking to get Hayhurst off the ball and a good shoulder charge to do so. Rolls it inside to Smith. Stood up well by Shaw. Leeds will have to go again with another attack as Darcy Green's cross is blocked by Varley. And it is cleared away. But there's some good battles going on out there. Leeds are winning most of them.
Yeah, it's a little scrappy, isn't it? I think York, you know, putting the bodies on the line, putting some really important blocks in. And I think it's great to see the numbers and the bodies that Leeds are putting in the box. I know they've been working hard on, you know, kind of using that to their advantage, getting the bodies in the box. But yeah, credit to York, that, you know, defended quite well over that period, Jan.
Easy. Bit of goalkeeping practice for Georgia Watton, who explains to Varley she had an option out wide, headed away by Cassidy. It's another foul throw from Hayhurst. She's been borderline all night. Darcy Green to Woodruff, who I think for a second thought about hitting the ball over the top. Here's Sanderson. She's been pulled back there by Gatt. It'll be a free kick. I think Sanderson's asking for an extra word for maybe a caution, but referee's kept the cards close to his chest. Well, the York player has gone down here, and it appears to be Hayhurst, who maybe after that shoulder barge from Woodruff has just picked up an injury. We hope she can continue.
I'm not sure what's happened there. Down this left-hand side, is that what you think?
Yeah, it's the last time she was involved. Of course, could have happened later down the clearance, but whether she's just maybe strained a neck or a shoulder, she's been barged into by Woodruff, because she did have like she was a bit open-chested, wasn't she? Woodruff had like the inside line on her. Wonder if it helped the Leeds striker win the duel.
I think the girls could use this free kick as, well, obviously an opportunity to score, but I think just be a little bit more intelligent about how we go about it. So, you know, you could have the likes of Alice Hughes and Britt Sanderson kind of hanging around the back post, and then, you know, bodies like Kath Smith causing problems around the centre spot, you know, in front of the goalkeeper, putting the goalkeeper under pressure. That's what we need to do. I think it doesn't necessarily have to be that first contact where we try and get the goal. You know, we could build it up a bit even in the box, even with all those bodies. I think if we make that first contact with the height and just create a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, lengthy enough delay here, so a couple of Leeds players have regathered for a tactical update.
We've got a few new players on the bench tonight, so it'll be interesting if we get to see any of those this evening. A couple of new signings, and then Ava from the 23s, I believe, making a debut, so that'll be good. Credit to the coaches in the under 23s if you're listening to this.
Yes, round of applause for Hayhurst, who we do hope is okay as fast as possible.
Looks like Leah, Leeds United physio's helping out there. It's always nice to see. She's been fairly quiet this evening, but she's told me I'm not allowed to say that.
So it appears that Duty has come on. So I don't believe it was 3 players on. It was just the 1, 2 of them behind having a tactical update. So the game will be allowed to get back underway. Again, our thoughts are with Imogen Hayhurst, who is the first player to be replaced. White floats it just as Drew Green was about to let fly. The referee's whistle goes for offside. It's been a bit of a nothingness first 12-13 minutes of the second half. Nobody's really done anything.
No, they haven't, and I thought that corner was going to go our way. I think the chaos that I was talking about, you've got lots and lots of bodies in there, but just disappointing that we're offside again. I think we saw in the first half we had a couple of offsides when we got into some really good positions. Just got to make sure we just check our line.
Very confident for Milana Millard, who decided a good way away from the touchline that she was going to usher this ball out.
Yeah, she did well.
Woodruff with the flick pass over the top and goes out of play for a throw.
I think the quality's definitely dropped, and I think it's almost like that danger time, isn't it, where, you know, York string a few passes together, get a bit of confidence, you know, a slight lapse in concentration by a Leeds United player, and it could be 1-1. So I think it's important for Leeds just to get back to that, passing the ball around, letting everybody have a touch of the ball. Good combinations.
Darcy Green trying to start an attack. Smith gets involved again. She's nipped in with some really important interventions, Cass Smith, tonight. Sanderson gets on the attack, tries to just about squeeze it forward, but too far in front of Woodruff as Watton gathers to clear. But Cass Smith's reading of the danger and ability to step up has helped Leeds in midfield predicaments tonight. Long may that continue as Drew Green gets back and wins the ball off Millie Ash and gets a throw.
Yeah, she's gone about her business quietly tonight, hasn't she, Cass Smith? But like you say, being in key areas, stopping the attacks and starting the attacks for Leeds. Very, very effective in this Leeds United team.
Trick it with the clearance. Referee asking, sorry, coaches of York asking the referee why Millard's original push on Astle wasn't a foul. The second one was. A deflection might go York's way. Simpson, as brave as you like to stop Doody, the sub, getting to it. They were onside though. And Carrie Simpson, who we were speaking beforehand, Brad, weren't we, about her season this year, it's been pretty quiet. And we say that as the fact that the defence and her job, she's just done what she has to do. It's very difficult in a game where you've barely had a single touch of the ball for your first real important moment is to save what looked like a certain goal. Very well done to her.
It was a good set piece, to be honest. They managed to just get through, and like you say, as brave as you like, it was a bit of a head in mouth moment, wasn't it? But yeah.
You see, that's what you are trying to say all night, though. One set piece could change the game if while it's only 1-0. Break off, because here's Woodruff. Wattam comes off the line, nearly made to rue that decision. Simple catch though from Woodruff's shot. Roll out from Wattam is misplaced. Hughes to Smith and back again. Leeds need that second or third, you'd feel, to settle the nerves. Certainly follow the person sat alongside me. Here is Drew Green into White. Just taken away from at the last second. Simpson out towards Legg. There's a lack of York presence in the Leeds half to put pressure on, so Legg finds a nice pass to Drew Green, nice and crisp into her feet. White goes behind her, mopped up by Bell. Wattam's clearance is a risky and a poor one. Gives Leeds great field position. Sanderson, majestic feet, puts it across, headed away by Short. White with a strong challenge, that is going to hurt. That is a cruncher. And Katie Astle is involved again. This time she's apologetic. It's a 50-50. There is an attempt on the ball. And we hope that Ellie White is okay, because you could hear that. They both had to go for it. You can't back out in a derby, in a game that means so much. It's just been slightly mistimed.
Yeah, I think Ellie White just got to that ball a little bit before. I mean, we've seen Katie Astle this game doing a lot of the defensive work. It's not where she'd like to be, but it's where she needs to do a job for a team in this game. But she's definitely put her body out tonight, and I think it's a deserved yellow card. I mean, you know, there's 2 or 3 of our players that have ended up on the deck and felt her. So yeah, hopefully Ellie White will be okay. It's not very often she goes down on the floor, so you know it's going to be a painful one when she goes down.
Interesting to see that Sanderson's moved out of the way of this, who took the last free kick, who forced a save out of Wattam. And Alice Hughes is the one that's lined it up nice and early. So a 4-player wall with Astle and Shaw in to the left. There's also Gatt and Varley in the wall. So here's Hughes. Could be a big moment this match. She goes low. It hits the wall easily. Sanderson was trying to backheel it to her. And from nothing, York are now charging forward, a 4-pronged attack. Millard stops it, but only for a split second, because now Ruby Shaw's broken free. York have got the advantage, but the pass has been overhit. That's going to allow Leeds to usher it out, and a poor set piece nearly gives York some hope. But again, with the scoreline as it is, Brady, the hope is still there.
It is. I mean, you saw the way in which the players were charging forward. They obviously saw that as an opportunity to maybe get back into this game. But yeah, initially a really, really poor free kick from Alice Hughes. She won't be happy with that one. She certainly won't want to watch that one back. Before she took it, I was just about to say what a great position to be in. Central of the goal, a good distance out. But yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. We've not really got into a passing rhythm at all this half, have we?
No, there's no real rhythm, is there, to the play? You just get the sense this is where York are quite happy to be, don't they? Because they want to try and get a smash and grab set piece or a goal or a counter attack.
And I think Leeds will be aware of that as well, but we just need, you know, your big players just to step up and just get a hold of this game. You know, get the ball down on the deck and just play football. We know that player for player, you know, Leeds are the best team all day long. You know, we've got the fans behind us as well. Let's give them something to cheer about. And more to the point, let's test Georgia Wattam in goal. We've seen what she's like under pressure with her feet. Let's keep working her.
Two Leeds players confused who was taking control. Eventually Hughes does. There's Smith. Clever ball to Millard. Looking low for Sanderson. Trickett clears. It'll be a Leeds throw-in. Bottom tips it behind. It'll be a corner kick.
Yeah, I thought that was going wide initially, but from a goalkeeper's point of view, you taught that if you're not sure, then go for the. And make sure you save it and get it out of play. They've literally got every single player back looking at that.
Yeah, all hands on deck then defensively as White goes far post towards Hughes. Waterman slipped as well, so it's an unfortunate one for Leeds. Leg does very well, keeps it alive. Hughes intercepted by Doody. It'll be a Leeds throw. Woodruff intercepted by Gap. Good tackle from Sanderson.
I was just about to say, you could see how tight they're marking Amy Woodruff. She's literally got no space whatsoever to turn. I think the throw-in's not helping. They're going into a body. It's difficult to get the ball down for Amy. You're throwing it to a chest and to a chin. I think we've just got to be a little bit more intelligent in those moments.
Cassidy. Astle thought that she'd be getting a free kick with that. Referee wanted to play on.
Yeah, I thought it was a good challenge. I thought she won the ball fair and clean.
Hughes dispossessed Gatt, picked up by Darcy Green. Through the middle to Woodruff. 1-2 is executed, but it's very awkward for Darcy Green to then do anything with that. She gets the ball from Bell. Woodruff's asking for it in behind. She gets it. Two options to her right. One of them is White. He will try and pivot. Good block. Needed to be as well. York have kept it alive. No, they haven't. It's gone out. It'll be a Leeds throw. Big moment again, but you've got to praise the defending.
Yeah, definitely. I think, again, really good play down this left-hand side, but it's just the execution of the pass. I think Amy Woodruff were trying to play out to Ellie White, I think it was, on that left-hand side. Or Darcy Green, sorry, and it just wasn't in front of a path. It meant she had to go behind, and that's where all the bodies were.
Doody.
Emily Cassidy did really well to win a header against the number 10 there. You mentioned before she was one of the smallest players on the pitch, but she seems to somehow manage to get up and win those headers in really important moments.
Turn from Woodruff. Crafty use of the body. White flies in. Smith will pick it up. Rolls it to Drew Green. York have covered back pretty well. They've got a lot of red shirts back in key areas, including Daniela Trickett. Puts a timely challenge in with 20 minutes remaining.
I think they've done that pretty well all night, to be fair, York. As much as, you know, I'm not singing the praises technically, I think they've got the bodies back, haven't they, every single time? And that's why the score is only 1-0.
Here is Sanderson. Tame shot for Watton. Reminder of the bench: Oates, Dawson, Elliott, Ellis, Bentley and Spencer Smith. It is Bentley and Dawson that are new arrivals this week. One of 3 new signings, including Leah Iglesias. Woodruff tried to pick out Sanderson, who looked skywards in disbelief. She knew she was in. If that pass wasn't intercepted, good work from York's Varley to cut it out. Gat's too strong on the challenge for White. And a poor pass from Gat, who can't pick out her teammate. And Assel's just been told to go collect her shin pad. Game can get back underway.
Yeah, I think there was just a lack of communication there between the two players in red, but Millie Ash on that left-hand side screaming in acres of space. If she managed to find her, I think we may well have been in trouble. I think that next goal is crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, crucial for the match, the contest, over 90, the season. You know, York are fighting for relegation. It's just at that awkward stage. We have it every year. Pitches are unusable. Games get clogged up and have to be caught up. And 2 games in a week. And you put a lot of pressure on teams trying to get out of the league. I guess for York, Brad, it's a bit of a free shot, isn't it? They're not expected to beat a team 23 points better off than them.
No, they're not, but, you know, I always think with a local derby, and especially like what we said at the start of the game, players may well feel they've got points to prove against their old team. Anything can really happen.
Oh, great work. Millard's in, ready to have a shot towards goal. Wattham does well. Woodruff was asking for the cutback. She's thrown a slight tantrum behind because she feels there's a simple tap-in. It's how they scored the first. The teamwork and the build-up was beautiful. It was Drew Green, back to White, that pass to Millard. And you can see why Woodruff is annoyed because the cutback is there. But if you're Alana Millard and you've made that run and you've got a sat at goal, it's hard to not have a dig as well, Brady.
No, it was a great pass by Drew Green. And again, you know, a lot of the times we get into these positions, but then it either gets blocked or it's the choice of pass that's not quite right. But, you know, I'm glad that, you know, it did end up in a shot at goal. But, you know, credit to the keeper there. She made a good stop. And that's the thing, when you're committing bodies forward, if you're forcing the keeper into making a save, quite often the keeper is just thinking about stopping it from going in the back of the net, not always where it's going to end up. If we've got the bodies in there and it ends up in a white shirt, you know, who knows what might happen.
Smith to Drew Green. Woodruff's gone near post. The cut out from Buckle stops them in their tracks, but she's got up to her feet to have a second bite of the cherry. She needs a bit more help though. Laid off to the edge of the box, but Assel will get to it and the wicked deflection will go out for a goal kick. Change for Leeds. White will make way. And Sophie Bentley comes on. So a new recruit. Joined from York. Representing England colleges this season. A youngster that's highly thought of. Good luck to her on her first appearance tonight. And they know the change as well. 74 minutes. Relatively for the coaching staff this year.
Yeah, we don't often see substitutions this early in the game. I think you know, Simon Wood obviously felt like we just needed to inject a little bit of energy into this game, and I think he's right.
Woodruff is offside.
I think as well, playing against your old team, you always want to have a good game, don't you? Put on your best performance. She's obviously very well thought of and respected by York City. You know, she doesn't really have anything to prove, but naturally you've just got that thing in you when you're a footballer. You play against your old team, you want to show them what they're missing. And I'm excited to see her play. 17 years old as well.
Yeah, it's a great sign, isn't it, for youngsters in the hope to play for this team in future. There'll be big dreams for players to a lot younger to with the recent success of the Lionesses and obviously represent their country, trying to play for their local team. And you know, when the youngsters are watching tonight, find out how old Bentley is and gives you something to aspire to, doesn't it, Brady? So it's good. I think it's always special when you're a fan of a club to see a production line as well. You know, you want to see experience, but the next generation, I know you were quite proud to try and inspire.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, the beauty of this team at the moment and this club is that there is that line of progression. I think, you know, historically, when we've had first teamers that have been out injured, you know, we've not really been able to call upon the youngsters. That the level was just too great. I think a lot of it's the physicality, I'll be honest with you, but I know it's something that they do work on. And, you know, there's definitely 4 or 5 of those under-23 players that can make the mark in this team and have gone on to make their debuts this season. So it's nice to see another one on the bench this evening.
Yes, Anderson, it's just a touch too far in front of both Drew Green and Woodruff. Bentley got her first touch in the build-up there. His leg heads clear. This game is still too close to call. The Yes Leeds have their advantage, but with York's only attacking set piece in the second half, they created a chance. His leg has been caught there by Doody. It'll be a free kick with 15 to go.
I think Shauna's just using her experience here just to run the clock down a few minutes. I think there'll be a few additional minutes added on. There's been a few stoppages this half, hasn't there? But I think she's an intelligent player. She knows when, you know, York have had a little bit of possession, might feel like they're getting a bit of confidence. It's just important to just try and keep the ball now.
Up to Darcy Green. Woodruff's asking for it in behind. The run is spotted.
It's close.
Very close indeed. Good reactions from Watson. Good positioning as well. She's not alert.
Yeah, it is. I mean, historically, like I said, I've known this player a long time, and you know, she's in the past she's been stuck to a line a little bit, and you know, got a little bit of criticism. But she was very, very quick off a line then, and to be honest, she's kept her team in this game for some time in this second half. Made some really good saves.
Millard's overhit that, looking for Drew Green. Just little instances where, of course, anything York can feed off as a scrap, they will try to do so. They've already lost 5-2 to Leeds in a cup this year. We wouldn't know that, though, by tonight's performance. They've been difficult to break down.
Yeah, I think for Leeds, I think we're just missing that cutting edge, aren't we? Just being clinical in the final third. We've not created that many out-and-out chances, I wouldn't say, but we've got into the right areas.
Dangerous ball just past Woodruff. Leg and a foot race. York player has got the better of the Leeds skipper. Here is Doody. He's been quite a live wire since stepping off the bench. Shauna Leggy's just trying to get her legs out of a tangle. And she's trying to buy the free kick. The referee isn't interested though. Legs had a bit of a push out on the York player. Unhappy at the treatment she was getting on the ground. There is that physicality and what it means to both teams. Millard gets it clear. Leeds get a throw in, but yeah, Leeds are not comfortable here. It looks comfortable and things are steady away, but there is a real element where there's just a sense with what's at stake and what's so important for Leeds that York are going to get one more chance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never comfortable at 1-0, never comfortable, and especially a team like this. You know, they're not a mid-table team that have got nothing to play for. You know, they're fighting for survival. They're going to fight for absolutely everything, and they've done that all game, to be honest. But yeah, it was just a little bit messy down that right-hand side then. I thought at one point the referee was going to give a free kick for obstruction, but he let us away with that one. But yeah, I think that second goal, you know, that Leeds very much need, I think will just settle things down a little bit.
Here's Cassidy. Pass was aimed at Woodruff. And Georgia Watton here appears to have hurt herself. This is a really disappointing situation. She's gone to ground to gather the ball, and I think her legs got caught, and I really hope there's just a slight knock and it isn't as serious as her teammates think it is. And I really am hopeful of that. Georgia Watton just going down to grab the ball for an offside. She's just so innocuous and so accidental. And this could be a lengthy delay here with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, she does suffer with injuries as well, so hopefully it's not as serious as what it looks. Yeah, she just slipped, didn't she? The hand went up straight away, asking for treatment.
Yeah, so Leeds can come across here for a well-earned drink and rest. There's 10 minutes left in this game. It's a huge game for their quest for promotion. And a massive game for York in their quest to avoid relegation. And it's these sort of moments when you find out about characters, Bridie, what it means to each group and how they can go about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I talk about your leaders and your experience and the fact that, you know, several of these players have played in Tier 3, you know, that have been in Tier 4 and won promotions with the teams. You know, they know what it takes. It's that consistency. And, you know, like I said, it was a disappointing result away at Doncaster. Obviously, we beat Blackburn fairly comfortably, lost against Huddersfield. It's just about building that momentum now that we saw at the beginning of the season, where we were pretty much winning comfortably every week. And we've just had, you know, cut runs can sometimes disrupt that as well. But I think it's good that the girls, like I said, managed to score 8 goals at the weekend, just to fill them with a bit of confidence. But, you know, it doesn't matter if it's 1-0 or 5-0 at the end of the day. It's the 3 points that matters. And 8 minutes to go of the 90. We've just got to see this game out. It doesn't always have to be pretty. I know we like to play good football. We're a team that certainly can and have shown that numerous times this season, but we've just got to see it out and just, you know, not do anything silly.
Yeah, so players just trying to stay loose and stretch off. York's players having a bit of a tactical update as well. And we send our best to Georgia Watton, who he's obviously in a lot of discomfort, and we really hope that she can recover as quickly as possible and it isn't as serious as it looks. And it's disappointing to see having to be carried off like this. The reserve goalkeeper is getting ready.
I think it's important from a Leeds perspective now not to just sit back and park the bus, because that just invites pressure. I think we've got to do what we've been doing throughout this game and just, you know, probe and just keep attack and attack and attack. And hopefully one of these chances will go in.
So the goalkeeper on is Mindenhall. Good challenge from York. Darcy Green, gap will clear. Here is Trickett. Here's Sanderson. Catching practice for Mindenhall, whose first touch on the ball is to then try and start a counter-attack.
It was a good kick out as well, wasn't it? But a bit of a tame effort there from Sanderson. Nice and easy for the goalkeeper.
Pretty routine for Gat to just pick up and regather possession. Hughes digs in, just knocks Doody off the ball. Drew Green has peeled wide to get possession. Good hands from Mindenhall. That's a dip low. Throwing for Leeds into the final few minutes. Bentley and Buckle appear to have clashed heads. Been a few with bumps and bruises tonight.
Many a time, Tom, have I had to go home and get the peas out the freezer.
Hungry?
I don't actually like peas.
Oh, not really.
Yeah, they're all. Take a leave. But no, it's one of those actually, because you can have like all these fancy ice packs and stuff, but sometimes the best things are just a bag of frozen peas. Who knew?
It's Darcy Green to Woodruff. I didn't think when we started our commentary journey together, Bridie, that I'd be asking if you liked peas, but here we are, 88 minutes in a massive game for relegation and promotion. As Lakeville clear, gets her bearings wrong. Here is Hughes. Simpson nearly makes the most bizarre 1-2 work. Trickett, who swaps sides, goes to Shaw. Sorry, Varley. Here now is Buckle. Nearly gets dispossessed. Leeds' players have still got plenty of energy about them.
They've done that a few times in this game, actually. Really risky kind of bits of skill in such dangerous areas. I mean, had she not have retained possession, then we could have been through.
Yeah, leg cuts it out, does well. There were two players alongside us who had to make the interception. Strong challenge from Cassidy. Dived early as well. Interception from Shaw. Into the closing minutes we go.
Yeah, I think good defending by Leeds then. You know, I'm looking at the number of shirts and it's pretty even down this side, and you know what you want to do is stop any crosses, anything that's going to cause any chaos in that defensive third. I think the girls did really, really well then.
Woodruff in a foot race with Varley, who he's just trying to cover and block her off. Woodruff made something out of that. She's adamant it took a touch there, does Varley. Shaw goes back and gets it back from Woodruff. Here's Cassidy. Trickett goes long and early. Millard tells Simpson to come for this. Good communication between the pair. I know Bridie's panicking alongside me.
I'm not. What gave you that impression?
That's the thing, isn't it? We said it before the game. This means so much to both teams. But Leeds, top of the table. Yes, they're rivals have a game in hand, but you just have to keep winning. You can't stumble. any moment at 1-0, you are panicking because it means so much to everybody.
And I think, you know, this defence is a very, very good defence in Emily Cassidy, Shauna Legg and Alana Millard, and they very, very rarely put a foot wrong. And if they do, because of that position, obviously I've played it myself, it can cost you games sometimes. It's not an easy position.
Doody Hughes told by the bench no foul. She's done that. Doody's hurt herself in the process, whether there was an awkward landing. Into stoppage time we go.
Yeah, I think she was just stronger than her there. I think she just put her elbow on her shoulder, but not enough for really to cause a big injury there. Like you say, unless she's landed funny.
So another injury delay here tonight. We'll be here all evening.
It's funny because when this is your teammate, you're like, stay down, we're 1-0 up. And when it's the other way around, you're like, get up, it's our time. But obviously, if she is injured and she needs treatment, fair enough. But I think the hope is just simmering away.
Do we have a player of the match while we're into another delay here?
Do you know what? I would give it to Alana Millard. I think first half put some really, really good crosses in the box. I think she's been busy. She's stopped a lot of half attacks, if you like, from the opposition. So yeah, I'd go Alana Millard. I think it's been a good performance from her tonight.
Game is ready to get back underway. Simpson tells the defenders to get on their bike and give her a bit more space up towards Hughes. That glancing header, she finds Woodruff. Smith to Drew Green. Drew Green to Bentley. Good first touch, gets it out of her feet. Sanderson round the corner to Darcy Green, who nearly skips inside Trickett, just runs away from it. Forward run from Darcy Green, can't turn it into Woodruff, can she? Yes, she can! Just about, and there's the goal they've craved since the 30th minute, but the flag is up. Offside, that ball is rolling, it'll be a free kick. A late spot from the official. It was scrappy. It was nearly so perfect for Leeds. We're back to tense and panicked as Emma Woodruff is going to be booked for time wasting. Football can change in 30 seconds. Nearly the hero with a brace.
It can. I think we got a bit lucky to kind of get it through there. Anyway, it was actually a good finish by Emma Woodruff. Just nutmegs in the keeper there. Would have felt harsh on that goalkeeper to come on as a substitute and then concede a goal like that, but it was offside, as we have been on several occasions this evening. But you know, I'm looking at that time now and I'm getting more and more relaxed. I think, to be fair to York, they've not given up, have they?
No, I mean, they're fighting for everything. Corner ball to Leeds. You know, they're travelling fans. They've never given up, have they? They're in a tough spot in relegation zone. They're playing against the league leaders, and they've really actually enjoyed the occasion and stood up to it. They've not respected Leeds too much, which is, if you were a York fan, that's what you expect. Leeds are there to be targeted. Bentley's made a short run for Smith. It was spotted by Trickett. The ball has moved away, and now Smith prepares another corner kick, headed away by Assel. Bentley can't get there. Smith will lose possession with the first touch. He's frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, it's a respectable scoreline from a York's perspective, isn't it? You know, at the start of this game, I would have expected that this Leeds team would have put 3 or 4 past them, but, win's a win. I think we've said it before, haven't we, Tom? You know, a year or two ago, we'd have probably ended up losing this game.
There's still a job to do.
It definitely shows the progression of this team and the great work that Simon Wood's done.
Risky back pass. Woodruff gets there. The rebound will fall to Sanderson, who tries to loft it. Takes a deflection on its way, and that's what saves Leeds United. Nearly get a brace. A second. Sanderson went for it, and that last little flick has kept it at 1-0. What an important touch that could be in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it was poor head back to the goalkeeper there. It just landed on the top of her head. It was a good save. Really brave by the keeper there. But yeah, I mean, I thought she handballed it initially, so it would have been a penalty, but fair play. Good defending.
Sanderson's delivery cleared away by Varley, or recovered by Millard. Hughes unable to control it. Cassidy keeps it in. And Cassidy is trying to go for the corner. In fact, she flicks it to Bentley. Good first touch. Inside ball. There's a tap in for Drew Green, and that is the goal that they needed. And Bentley gets an assist, and the youngster in her first game coming off the bench makes a vital contribution. Not as big as Drew Green's curling finish to wrap up the 3 points. 2-0.
Oh, I mean, it was thoroughly deserved. Fantastic work down at right-hand side. I think Emily Cassidy did so well. I thought she was going to try and cross it in initially, try and whip it in, but she managed to just keep it in play. Turn around, composure, and what a ball that is by Sophie Bentley. I mean, it was handed on a plate, and I talked about being clinical, and that was clinical. You know, we've not had that many clear-cut chances this half, but I mean, that was a fantastic team goal. So yes, I am very well relaxed now. I can put my feet on this desk now.
And there is a change or two. Ellis is on. Sanderson is coming off. So just a chance for players to get a few minutes. Ava Spencer-Smith is the latest player on as well. More rewards for youngsters that have impressed, and there is the whistle from the referee that Leeds were desperate to hear for such a long time. Nearly 100 minutes of action, but their quest for promotion continues with another 3 points. Woodruff and Green, the goal scorers. It wasn't pretty at times, but it was controlled. Carrie Simpson had one save to make against York City, who put up a really brave fight throughout. So there's the full-time whistle. Leeds back in action on Sunday here on our service on LUTV. And until then, have a great week.
Goal, Leeds United, number 14, Amy Woodruff. Leeds United, number 7, Drew Green.